What's up, Photographer World? Joshua Grasso here from theshutterschool.com, and today got some fancy video light action for you. I got a quick behind the scenes of my wedding this last weekend. I did a quick video light portrait series, and I'm going to show you how I did this unique creative angle and this video light to work quickly so that I can get an awesome portrait for the couple when I had very little space and very little time to use. So let's get into it. A little background. Basically what happened this weekend, we had a indoor wedding at a very small venue. Beautiful venue, but very small. It's an old house, an old mansion. It's really cold outside. Bride and groom didn't want to go through the crowd to get outside. They wanted to do all their portraits inside. So I had to try to find what are the most scenic spots to use inside this venue, and I noticed the chandelier. Survey behind the scenes. So during cocktail hour, you can see as you walk around, there's just basic little foyer with the grand staircase walking in, and there's this nice chandelier. It's definitely very pretty. It's definitely something to work with. It's definitely something tricky to use. It's relatively high up, hard to make it use as a background, but I decided I want to do something a little bit more creative. So as I go up, take a walk, and go on top of the stairs, you'll notice that as I look down, you will get this cool view of shooting through the chandelier. If I put the couple on the stairs, I can shoot through the chandelier and get something unique and aesthetic. So it's not going to be every day that you can be above a chandelier. It's a tiny bit dangerous because I have to reach over the edge to look down and get a good view, but that's what we did. So as I'm looking over the edge, I see where do I want to put the couple. And so I had my assistant go down on the stairs, and so as I'm up top looking down through the chandelier, I only have to lean over just a little bit, luckily. So from this angle, all I have to do is kind of lean over with the mirrorless. I can kind of look at the back of the screen and hold it up so that I can look down through the chandelier. And so I had to put the assistant, told her to go on the stairs so that I can see where the couple needed to be placed. And I wanted the chandelier to be a cool foreground element, and then have the couple as the background element, and have them kind of framed in this space. So working the composition a little bit, double checking my assistant would look good. This is how the composition I'm going with. I realized I need the couple on this step, and then this is everything exposed brightly. It's distracting. You got the background and everything else. This is not going to work. You want the lights to really pop, so you go and you underexpose a little bit. So my settings here are 1/80th of a second at f1.8. I probably should have been a little bit higher. Shutter speed, you kind of lose track sometimes. If I was using flash earlier, I was probably using flash right before this, so 1/80th was okay. But now that I'm using a video light, I probably should be getting a little bit faster. We'll see if I did that in the final shot. But at 85 millimeters, it gets a nice tight shot framing here. And then a shallow aperture so that the lights can get nice and blurry, and the bokeh, all the little crystals on the chandelier would be nice and bokeh. So here's kind of the setup of what the framing is going to be with the assistant, and then I can grab the couple, and we put the couple in place, and then I gave this fancy video light to my assistant. And so why I like these video lights is when you need to work quick, you don't need to set up a light stand and dial in your trigger, make sure everything's the right level. You can just see instantly, is the light level the way you would like it. And this is actually the Yongnuo YN360. I highly recommend them for when you need to work quick. Also, they actually make a really good quality of light, because a speed light, let's say all I had was a speed light without a softbox, for instance, the size of the flash would be about this big, but with this video light, this big. So you're going to get actually a much softer light source using this video light than you would just a bare flash. Now, if you had a softbox, for instance, then it's not going to be the same. You'll still get some pretty soft light. But I really like how this video light lights the couple, so when you're in a pinch, this is a great thing to work with. Great thing to work quickly, get a nice decently soft light without needing to take a lot of time. So I literally only had 5 minutes to make these portraits, so I wanted to have enough time to hurry up and get a nice series of quick traditional ones with a nice easy light to work with, not having to mess around with flash. I used the video light, put the couple in front of the stairs, boom, got my traditional poses out of the way, then had the creative shot already mapped out in my brain so that I can just plug and play. And so I put the couple in place, and then as you can see the setup here, this is what the chandelier will look like from the lobby looking in, and then I have them on the steps. I had to stagger them because they're on the stairs. I needed to set them up in such a way where that they can be close together. Being on the steps, it makes it a little bit trickier to pose, so I had them like one step higher than the other so that they can both fit in nice and tight together. And the trick here with the pose is that you're going to be shooting down, so you need to give them an excuse to be looking up. So I wanted it to look like super romantic, like he was looking at her, whispering sweet things or kissing on her neck or something, and then she was kind of looking up, like taking it all in. And then what I did is I had to have him tilt his head just a little bit. In this pose, the beforehand where I told him how to tilt his head, it was a little bit more tilt than the resulting picture. And then I have her looking up, and then I end up having her close her eyes because I don't want her looking at the camera. I want it to look like all sweet and romantic. She's looking up, and then her eyes are down because she's taking in all the wonderful things he's saying. Since they're looking up, I want it to where they're lighting from up high. So I have my assistant lighting down, so it's going to look like they're illuminated from the chandelier. So you put it all together, and this is what the framing looks like. And so her chin is up so I can get her face and not the top of her head, but then her eyes are down a little bit, taking in his like whispers and everything. It looks nice and romantic. This is the unedited version. And then I go edit it a little bit, get the background a little bit darker. So I definitely expose for the couple here, and that makes the chandelier a little bit brighter than I want and the background a little bit brighter than I want. So when I go to edit, just make sure that I bring the levels down and then you bring them back up. So actually how I edited this was 3 different layers. One layer was the background, I brushed it in nice and dark. One layer was the couple, and one layer was the chandelier. So a quick edit of it without having to open up Photoshop and do a bunch of layers is I quickly put on my preset, which boosts the contrast a lot. And just by boosting the contrast in my preset, you can see that it already puts the background a little bit black. The light's already looking pretty good. And then I bring the exposure down. So actually this is before I brought the exposure down. So here's normal exposure, but then I want to darken a little bit so that the light looks really good, the background looks really good, and then you can boost. And then what you could do is just simply brush in the couple to be brighter. All right, get nice, and I'll just do a quick example. Right, so their face is nice and bright, but the background stays dark. And now the lights here, I can do another pass. What I want to do is really make that lights pop, so I'm going to do some saturation boost, maybe some clarity to get the details popping. Maybe the highlights I'll go up a little, but then the shadows I'm going to go down so I don't accidentally, so that the background will stay dark, but then the lights will brighten up. And then we're adding a little bit of color with that vibrance, so now these lights really pop. Alright, so just a quick turbo edit just to show you the concept. And then you can clean up the background if there's anything too bright. You can just brush in some darkness in the corners, like these stairs here, just a little bit more darkness. You know, season to taste to make it look the way you want. Alright, so the before and the after, pull them up together, and that's what we got. Just using this nifty little video light, you can work really quick and get some creative portraits. So as always, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you can get more behind the scenes on my wedding days, my engagement shoots, all the other stuff I like to do. I've got a whole bunch of gear reviews coming as well. Lots of great content, so if you want to see more, like, subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Joshua Grasso, and we'll see you in the next video.